Good morning, good morning, good morning, you guys. How are you? It's Wednesday. It's almost a weekend, right? Anyways, I wanted to share with you. This is Sandra Ayon, your home care provider. I did a video yesterday in Spanish, and I want to share with you guys a little bit about before I get to doing what I have to do. I want to share with you guys a little bit about share a cost. Okay, so a lot of the videos that I have made have a date on them, okay? And I want you guys to look at the date, okay? And look at the most current stuff. A lot of the videos, the information is still current, but if I find that there is more information that applies to the subject, then I'll go ahead and do another video, which is why I'm doing the share a cost again. All right, so I just found out some new information by reading the materials that they provide at the orientation. I know it's a lot of paperwork, and I know you guys do not want to read it, but the share a cost is really important when it comes to getting paid as a provider. So I already mentioned in my last video that the share a cost basically is what it means is that the recipient that's receiving these services makes too much income, and the income that they make affects the benefits that they receive. So, for example, which is what I read on the orientation paperwork. For example, if your recipient makes normally you cannot make, and let me go back and take a look, but the last time that I read, it says if your recipient makes more than $3,000 a month, they do not qualify for the services, okay? Because it is a Medi-Cal funded program. Okay, so if for some reason your recipient has a share of cost because they make too much money, let's say that the share cost is $200. So let's pretend that the county is going to give you $500 in services for the recipient. Okay, I'm not even going to base it on hours because I need you guys to understand the concept of how share a cost is calculated. So let's say that the recipient receives $500 in services. Okay, $500 in services, but they have a share cost of $200. So what that means is that the county will pay the provider $300 because the recipient has a share cost of $200. So the $300 that the county pays plus the $200 of share cost equals the $500 that they're receiving. Okay, now let's say the way that you minimize the share of cost is by providing proof on the behalf of the recipient. So let's say that for this particular, let's say in March, the recipient had to buy medication. Sorry. Let's say that the recipient had to buy medication, and sometimes they have to pay for their own medication. So let's say they spent $50 on medication this month of March, okay? And then they went and they saw the doctor and they spent another $25 for the copay. So now the recipient has spent $75. And that $75 at the end of the month, the recipient has to report that to the social worker because they turned in their expenses every month. So the recipient turns in the $50 and the $25 of share of cost that they had to spend out of their pocket. They turn it into the county social worker. What happens next is the social worker takes that into accountability. They do their own paperwork, and when the provider gets paid, the county will now pay the $300 that they're originally going to pay, and they did the $75 of cost that the recipient has to pay the provider. So now the county will pay $375 for the services provided to the recipient. There is a remainder of $125 of share of cost still that the recipient has to pay for the provider out of their pocket. It's not $200 anymore because they had to spend, what's today, Wednesday? Okay, 8 to 12. I got a couple of minutes. Actually, let's do it inside. So, part of the way of being able to receive your pay from the county is to get rid of that share of cost. How do you get rid of the share of cost? It's the expenses that the recipient has throughout the month. Good morning. I know. No, just give it to me. I'll be back. I'm not going to Newark. Alrighty then, here we go. So, how do you get rid of share of costs? The more expenses that you provide to the social worker that the recipient has to have, the more the share of cost goes down. The more the share of cost goes down, the more the county pays the provider. Now, in the previous video, I stated that I stayed in a conversation. I had the privilege of being part of a conversation with another recipient about share of cost. When you guys get your when you have a share of cost, the IRS automatically says this is what you got paid, whether the recipient paid you or not, and you are taxed on that amount, which was one of the sad things that I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. So it's still the same. The IRS is still going to go ahead and consider that share of cost, even though whether you received it or didn't receive it. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. In the packet that you receive when you get the orientation, there is a flyer that is handed to you about share of cost. Please read it. It's kind of the example I just gave you. They have two examples there. Oh my God, this guy's pushing the trash can. Good morning. Yeah. Can I go that way? They're beautiful. I love them. Hey, no comieron frijoles, ¿verdad? No comieron frijoles. Buenos días. Good morning, good morning. A trabajar se ha dicho. Come on, it's the gardeners. They love me. They're so cool. I told them in Spanish, when we break a piñata, we tell them, and the kids are trying to hit it and they can't hit it or aim, we tell them, you guys didn't eat beans. Kind of like you didn't have your Wheaties this morning. Yeah, they're cool. It's supposed to rain. Anyways, so I wanted to share that little bit of share of cost with you guys. The more expenses that the recipient has throughout the month, the more the county will be responsible for paying you. And there's many cases. Wow, there's no parking. Okay. There's many cases where no parking, no parking. Okay. There's many cases where we don't get paid because we're taking care of our mom, our dad, our sister, our brother, our uncle, you know, and I don't think that's fair. I don't want to park underneath the tree. I guess I'm gonna have to walk. Well, no, I just washed the back. So I'm just getting to work. I wanted to share this with you guys, and I wanted to tell you guys to have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Any questions, any comments, anybody out there that wants to know a little bit more of share cost? I mentioned yesterday that I finally got my business cards. So that's super awesome. I have phone numbers that I will be sending my business cards out to. It's a little picture my son gave me. Technology. I'm gonna sit here for a little bit and drink my coffee before I go in. She's gonna be awfully surprised I'm there. So God bless you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, call me. My phone number is 562-281-3219. I'm going to try to find some more stuff about share cost because it's important. And let me know what it is I can do for you guys. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful Wednesday. I got to go to church before I kill somebody. But I figured out how to get rid of my headache. So that's awesome. I love you, James. Have a good day. And talk to you guys soon.